May 15th is the feast day of Saint Dymphna, a young woman of great courage. She is the patroness of the mentally and emotionally ill and other nervous disorders. How did this come to pass? Let us learn the incredible and heart-wrenching story of Saint Dymphna today. The first thing to say is that the story of Saint Dymphna, also spelled Dymphna with a Y and Dymphna with an I, is shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. But there is no question of a tradition of invoking her for the mentally ill. The earliest historical account of veneration of the saint dates from the middle of the 13th century in Belgium, where the Irish Saint Dymphna died and was buried in the 7th century. The author of the account, a canon of the Church of St. Aubert at Cambrai, wrote a life of the saint commissioned by the Bishop of Cambrai, Guy I. He states expressly that the basis for his biography was oral tradition. Saint Dymphna was born in 7th century Ireland to an Irish king or warlord named Damon, who was a pagan. Her mother was very beautiful and a Christian. Dymphna's mother imparted the Christian faith to her daughter and had her secretly baptized against her father's wishes. When Dymphna was 14, she consecrated herself to Christ and took a vow of chastity. Her mother tragically died while Saint Dymphna was only a teenager. Damon loved his wife dearly, and after her death, his mental health declined greatly. His moody silences pushed him on the verge of mental collapse. His courtiers suggested he consider a second marriage. The king agreed on condition that his new bride should look exactly like his former one. His envoys went far afield in search of the woman he desired. They searched for a queen in distant lands for many months, but their quest proved fruitless. Then, one of them had a brilliant idea. Why shouldn't the king marry his daughter, the living likeness of her mother? The king was appalled at first. Then, when the courtiers pressed him again, he too thought this was a good idea. He then began to desire his daughter, who bore a strong resemblance to her mother. Dymphna, who had made a vow of virginity before God, was horrified by her father's proposal and adamantly refused. The king was very angry at her. To escape the king's inevitable outrage over her rejection, Dymphna fled the kingdom. She was accompanied by her confessor, Father Gerabernus, as well as faithful servants from her father's court. On landing in Antwerp, on the coast of Belgium, they looked around for a place to stay. In the little village of Gheel, they settled near a shrine dedicated to Saint Martin of Tours. According to one tradition, Dymphna built a hospital using the money she brought from her palace. Dymphna dedicated herself to the care of the impoverished and sick. The mentally ill, in particular, found refuge in her kindness. And it wasn't long before Dymphna developed a reputation for her charity. Unfortunately, her good deeds were not to go unpunished. Her father's men were searching throughout the land for her. After a few months, the spies tracked her down as she used the coins she got from Ireland. They reported this to Damon, who then went to Belgium to try to take Dymphna back to Ireland. He had Gerabernus decapitated on sight, a martyrdom for which the old priest would later be canonized. He once again proclaimed his romantic love for his daughter and begged her to return to Ireland as his wife. When this approach failed, he tried threats and insults, but these too left Dymphna unmoved. She would not change her mind, staying true to her vow of virginity and refusal to enter an incestuous relationship. In a fit of rage, he beheaded her, his own daughter. According to tradition, she was only 15 years old when she died. The people of the town buried the two bodies in a cave near Gheel. Word of her sacrifice spread quickly, and it wasn't long before people began making pilgrimages to Gheel to visit the place where the Christian girl laid down her life. She was declared patroness of those with mental problems because of the great anguish her father's mental affliction caused. Saint Dymphna's story should give all of us courage and strength, especially that through her God has provided a powerful patroness for those suffering from mental and emotional disorders.